Welcome to the podcast where we chat about the in-depth differences between an emotional support animal and a service dog.
Absolutely. It's a topic that's really important for renters to understand. What's the core difference according to the latest details you looked at?
Well, first off, a service dog is a specially trained animal that does specific tasks, like guiding someone who is blind or even alerting a person with diabetes about blood sugar changes.
Yep.
It's all about assisting with a disability, and these dogs are protected under the ADA.
Right. They can accompany their handler into public spaces without facing extra pet fees.
Exactly, and that's a huge point. Your landlord can't charge extra fees or impose breed restrictions when it comes to service dogs, because the law has very strict guidelines under the Americans with Disabilities Act.
So, essentially, if you rely on a service dog, the rules are pretty clear-cut and the assistance is bona fide, legally speaking.
Right on. Contrast that with an emotional support animal, or ESA. ESAs are all about providing comfort and emotional support, but they don't require the same specialized training that service dogs do.
Yeah,
They're
I see.
protected under the Fair Housing Act instead.
And that means landlords must make reasonable accommodations, even if there's a no pets policy, correct?
Exactly. But there's a twist. With ESAs, landlords can actually ask for documentation from a licensed mental health professional. So it's not as automatic as with service dogs, which have that unconditional public access.
That's an interesting distinction. Now, I'm wondering, if a landlord requires documentation for an ESA, don't you think that might put undue burden on someone who really needs emotional support?
That's a fair question. While the documentation does add a step, it's meant to ensure that the support is genuine. The policy strikes a balance. However, it could feel like extra red tape for some renters. From one angle, it protects property owners from abuse of the system.
True, but it might also open room for debate about what constitutes proper evidence.
Definitely. And another point is that ESAs, despite having housing protections, don't get to go into public places like stores or restaurants. So if you're walking into a cafe with your pet, you might face some challenges there.
Right, you can't just bring your emotional support pet into any business establishment like a service dog.
Indeed. The legal differences also extend to what responsibilities you have as an owner. With either animal, you need to ensure they are well behaved and don't cause damage to the property. Landlords can enforce cleanliness and safety rules regardless of the animal's support role.
It sounds like, at the end of the day, it's a balancing act between your rights as a tenant and the responsibilities of owning an assistance animal.
Exactly. It's like you're given a special key, but you need to use it responsibly. With service dogs, there's no requirement for documentation because the tasks they perform are clearly defined under the ADA.
And that means you won't be hit with extra fees or breed restrictions. Pretty robust legal protection there.
Right. Meanwhile, ESAs are more about emotional support without a rigorous training component, which is why their legal footing is a bit different. They're covered for housing, but not for public access.
Yes, so for renters, knowing these rules is crucial when advocating for themselves. Imagine trying to explain to a landlord why your companion needs special provisions without knowing the laws.
Exactly. Knowledge is power. And it's not just about having an animal. It's about ensuring you can live comfortably while respecting the property rules.
And also about preventing misunderstandings. If both parties know their rights, it saves a lot of headaches later.
Absolutely. It's like you have two different playbooks, one for service dogs and one for ESAs. The service dog playbook says no extra charges, no breed rules, while the ESA playbook allows for documentation requests, but still demands accommodations under fair housing.
Yeah, I appreciate how clear that is. It really underlines the importance of understanding both your rights and your responsibilities as a renter with a support animal.
Exactly. And it's a reminder that while the laws are designed to protect us, we also have a part to play, keeping our pet well behaved and ensuring the property stays in good shape.
And that creates a fair space for everyone involved: tenants, landlords, and even our furry companions.
Right. It's like a well-tuned symphony of legal rights, responsibilities, and everyday living. It all comes down to knowing these differences so you can navigate your housing rights smartly.
A solid conversation indeed. It really sheds light on how these support animals are not just pets, but essential aids, and that understanding the legal differences helps us all communicate better.
Absolutely. Thanks for diving into this with me. It's been a really insightful chat about how our furry friends can make a world of difference while keeping within two distinct legal frameworks.
Agreed. Thanks for the engaging conversation. Until next time, stay informed and keep advocating for your rights.